Hey gang, roughly about a month ago, I announced the winner of the You Choose, I Draw poll. That's where I take some of my action figure photography and I let you guys decide which one is worthy to draw out and make a Aonr Draws episode out of. And so that's what this episode is. So I've done this You Choose, I Draw poll over on my Instagram account 3 other times. Dark Phoenix, Spawn, and Crime Syndicate were some of those drawings. So if you'd like to see some of the other artwork that I've done based off of these types of polls, they're still on my Instagram account. Check it out, Art of Nick Rivers. And before we get into this video, before we get into the drawing part of this video, stick around afterwards because I will announce the next 4 contestants in the You Choose, I Draw articulated comic book art into comic book art poll. So stick around and yeah, let's get into it. So for this one, I decided to do a thumbnail sketch first. That way I can kind of get my framing correct and the pose down the way I wanted it to look before I got into the nitty-gritty details. So there it is, You Choose, I Draw, and that's the day I sketched it on. I sketched it earlier than before it got chosen. I actually sketched all 4 out, did rough sketches of all 4 for the sole purpose of I knew that around this time I was going to be very busy, and as I'm recording this video I'm very busy. I've got a vending spot at QuadCon that I'm getting ready for. By the time this video comes out, it'll already be done and over with. So if you got a chance to meet me out there, cool. Thanks for coming along. But I'd say one of the more difficult parts about this drawing in particular was this is the first time I've ever drawn Nightcrawler looking a little bit more fierce. Usually I've drawn Nightcrawler before, like I've mentioned. He's one of my faves, so I've definitely drawn old Kurt Wagner before, but usually I have him looking pretty laid back or with a big grin on his face, which I always love doing because it offsets the devilish look that he has. But this time I wanted him to look fierce and just like he did in the action figure that I had, the Marvel Legends that I had of him. He had that raw kind of look on his face, and I wanted to capture that. And so I did the best I could with that, and I like the way it turned out. You'll also notice I'm starting to add in some details that weren't in the photo that I'm getting this pose and the whole inspiration from. And you know what? Too bad. I wanted to add some like cybernetic danger room tentacles coming towards him as he was bamfing into action, and I just thought it gave more movement to the drawing. I didn't have like crazy cybernetic tentacles to add to the action figure photo when I took it, and honestly, even if I did, I probably wouldn't have even thought to use those in that photography. That photo that I'm deriving this from was one of my early action figure photos that I took, where I really started to take it more seriously. Maybe that's the wrong word for it, because I have a lot of fun setting up my figures and posing them and taking photos of them. It's like a strange level of stress relief for me. I always joke, it's like I'm probably one of the, my idea of stress relief is delicately posing these things that will easily tip over and fall, and often do when I'm trying to take the photos. They'll, and then you got to reset, get your lighting right. There's a lot to it, and I have much respect for people that really put a lot of effort into their action figure photography. On my other Instagram account, Omni Rivers. I go on there and I check out a lot of cool action figure photographers, and I'll get inspiration from them on how to set things up or how to light things. And I still consider myself pretty much an amateur at it. I'm not using fancy cameras or fancy camera settings. I'm really just using my iPhone to take pictures of all of this. And who knows, maybe one of these days I'll upgrade my hardware so I can take some more impressive photography. But I just do it for fun. And when I was taking the picture of this Nightcrawler, it was just for fun. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. But it's different my approach is different with the artwork, of course, because I put a lot more thought into it. And I just wanted to create like something in the foreground, midground, and background to really make it pop, really make Kurt pop as he's bamfing into action, and give him some reason for why he's swinging his swashbuckling sword around too. So I thought the cybernetic tentacles were the way to go for that. Also, another addition that I'm really proud of, that I really had a lot of fun with, that wasn't included in the original photo, was the kind of the smoke traces wrapping around his sword and around his body, and kind of also around him, just kind of exploding out. I thought that was a nice little way to also add movement into this drawing. It's one of the critiques I got when I was in art school was, a lot of my drawings were just very static and it needed more movement. And that's something that I'll think about from time to time as I'm drawing. Like, is there a way I can add more movement, add more action into this drawing? So that was something I really wanted to do with this, and I think that I was able to achieve that with this piece. Now, I knocked out the background for a moment just so I could focus on inking the Bamf part of his teleportation effect. And I used some brushes. I'll put them on the screen here. I used one brush in particular that was given to me by a really cool artist named Fred Gorham. He's a nice guy. I draw with him when I go to our local comic book sketch jam that we have like once every month, and I try to make it there as often as I can. I don't get there nearly as often as I should, to be real, but I'm making more of a concerted effort this year to get out and socialize and be with other artists, because I truly miss drawing with other artists, and there's so much you can soak up and learn. And even if you're not learning anything, just the whole social aspect of it is nice. You get to be around other weirdos like yourself. It's always a fun thing. It's one of the things I miss the most about art school is getting to be around other creatives. I don't get to nearly as much as I like to, and a lot of that is because of my work schedule and my whole working arrangement right now. It's particularly draining and doesn't really allow for much of a social life. But you get in where you fit in, I guess. But anyhow, I'll add a link to some of Fred's stuff in the description of this video. So if you want to check out some of his artwork, it's really phenomenal work. So thank you, Fred. Thanks again for giving me some really cool brushes. You'll probably see more of his brushes. I haven't really gotten to dig in and play with them as much as I'd like to yet, but I plan on it. So you'll see more of his brushes in future videos, I'm sure. But we're getting towards the home stretch right now. This drawing really came together, I wouldn't say quickly. I definitely spent my time on it, but the inking portion came together surprisingly quick. It's one of those things where I believe I I was so energetic about this that usually when I come home after work, I don't really do a whole lot of artwork because I'm usually so drained, which wasn't the case a few years back when I had started my job. I used to still be pretty energetic and would finish projects when I came home, but lately I'd just been so drained that when I get home, like, that's the last thing I want to do is look at a computer screen and or even hold a pen and pencil. So this one, surprisingly, I was still pretty amped up about, so I came home and inked a lot of it. I think it was probably about 2 or 3 sessions inking it, and the colors came together relatively quick as well. But I did do a lot of fidgeting with the lighting, especially on his eyes there. I kind of wanted to make it glow like it was glowing in the photography, but I opted out of that. I was a little concerned about how that yellow was going to bleed into that black ink on the prints, which I've recently printed this out, and it looks phenomenal, guys. It looks really crispy on that premium glossy paper. So I'll have to show that to you guys maybe in a separate video sometime. But here he is. Here's Kurt Wagner, the incredible Nightcrawler. And thank you guys again, everyone who voted for the You Choose I Draw. Stay tuned. At the end of this episode, I will be debuting the next You Choose I Draw. And if you like this drawing, you like some of my commentary, don't forget to help support by giving me a like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit that little bell notification, and you'll be notified the next Aonr Draws episode comes out. Thank you guys again. Love you. Peace. You choose. I draw. If you know anything about me, you know I get a kick out of posing my figures and taking what I think are pretty neat snapshots of them. Sometimes they even inspire some of my artwork. That's why I'm doing a little poll to see which one of my photos should I redraw, remix, reimagine as a pinup. So for this one, your choices are Katana facing off against Noob Saibot, Thor versus Loki, Elektra, and Bane versus Venom. Voting ends Saturday, April 20th, so make sure you get your votes in on this video, in the comment section of this video, or whatever video you see for You Choose I Draw poll number 5. I'll tally all the votes up that Saturday and announce the winner, and that winner will be a future episode of Aonr Draws.